liberty, and justice for all.
Great job, Matt. Thank you for that. Everybody, please sign in.
Thank you, Mayor.
Five members present.
Okay, Ryan, have there been any changes to the agenda?
There is one change to the agenda, removal of item 9A, legislative updates, as there weren't any substantial updates to provide.
Okay, can I get approval of the agenda as amended?
So moved.
So move.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, moving on to item 2, Citizens Forum. Anybody that would like to address the council on anything that is not either part of new business or public hearings, please come to the podium here and give us your name and address for the record. Come on up, Mr. Stoll.
Hi, I'm Landon Stoll, live on 3530 Commerce Drive in West Des Moines. So I just want to take a quick second to thank the city and Public Works worker, one moment.
Here, Landon, come over
Yes,
a little
over
bit here to the
here,
podium.
sir.
Perfect.
Okay, so just want to take a quick second to thank Public Services worker Jeff Sherman. Our family lives on Commerce Drive. We recently had a grading issue when the city was working to correct a drainage issue. So we had a landscaping issue on the border of our property, just kind of harming some grass and trees. So we called Mr. Sherman. His and his team were there that night. They resolved the issue immediately. Just wanted to thank him and the city for their quick response time and citizen awareness. Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
You never cease to amaze me. Someday, I think you're going to, come up with a cure for cancer or do something just
Glad you
absolutely
offered.
amazing. So thank you for sharing, Landon.
Thank you
Really
very much.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else would like to share anything or come up and address the council for Citizens Forum? Okay, anybody online that would like to address the council on Citizens Forum, please hit *6, not #6, but *6 to unmute yourself and give us your name and address for the record. Okay, hearing nobody. Going once, going twice, Citizens Forum is closed. We'll now move to item 3, Mayor, Council, Manager Report, Other Entities Update. And we are going to start with a presentation of a check for the Historic West Des Moines Pilot Housing Program. We've got Tara Wackendorf here, who is the Vice President and Public Relations Director for Green State Credit Union. So Tara, if you want to come up, and if the council wants to join us in front of the dais, that'd be great.
I also want to thank Russ and the team and the city because Green State has made a commitment over the next decade to invest $5 million in affordable housing across the state. So this is the perfect type of project we're looking for. So thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Tara. We appreciate all you guys are doing for affordable housing. We are really excited about the programs we're going to be starting in Valley Junction. We're going to help rehab the homes down there, get low and moderate income folks into homes, and we're really excited about that kickoff, which will be July 1st. We'll have the programs up and running. So, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Congratulations. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. That's right. Yes.
Thank you so much. Got his numbers on here and everything. Okay, now we'll move on. We've got President of DMAC, Rob Denson, here to give us an update on the Des Moines Area Community College. You are in order, Rob. Thanks for being here.
We'll see how good I am with technology. Let's see, should be here.
We've got people here to help if you need it.
Let's try that.
Takes an expert. I'm Rob Denson, president of DMAC, and I want to thank you for allowing me to spend a few minutes with you. I want to bring you up to date on kind of some of the happenings at Des Moines Area Community College. This is the first presentation that I'm going to be doing in a series to all the city councils of where we've got a particular campus. We have two board members, Madeline Tersey and Fred Bowie, who represent this area. Fred's out of town and Madeline's got a medical issue with an aunt, so otherwise they would have been here. And of course, Tony Postian, who many of you probably know is provost of our West Des Moines campus, just finished another successful CI Live Week. So we're very pleased with everything that's going on out here. DMAC serves 6,550 square miles. We call it the economic sweet spot of Iowa. 6 campuses and 5 other facilities that we have throughout our district. Our goal is to serve as much of our district as possible to make education not only affordable, but close by. We're by far the largest community college in Iowa. We are actually down 10% since 1919, but I'm pleased to say that with the pandemic being at the stage it is, enrollment looks good for summer and looking up for this coming fall. We serve about 36,000 credit students every year, 22,000 more non-credit students. We have students from every county in the state of Iowa that come to DMAC for one of our many, many programs. Career Advantage is our concurrent enrollment program for high school students, extremely popular throughout our district. We did dip a little bit during the pandemic time, but it looks like we're coming back very strong for fall, and it's a great opportunity for students in high schools throughout our district. And we serve about 15,000 high school students per term, so a good number of them will graduate with their 2-year degree every year at the same week they graduate from high school. You look at market penetration, which is the percentage of 15 to 54-year-olds coming to DMAC, and red means more growth. That's 2000. That's 2010, that's 2019. So as we continue to open up facilities around our district, more and more students are choosing DMAC for one of our 1 or 2 year degrees. Student-wise, as I mentioned, a little over 36,000 credit students. We do a lot of non-credit. 23% of our student body is minority. 79% of the students are coming to us for the first 2 years of a 4-year degree, and the rest of them are going into career and technical education. Many academic programs, 226 degrees, certificates, and diplomas, 19 majors, and I've listed there our top 6 majors. Quite frankly, we offer whatever programs can generate enough students, and we have either a business or a college or university that wants our transfer students. We try to develop things that help individuals get to those points. And every college or university loves our transfer students. We were the first, and I think we're still the only community college that articulates with Grinnell. We're very proud of that. We articulate with all the regents, all the privates in the state, and we just articulated with Tuskegee, the only community college in the Midwest that articulates with Tuskegee University. We're going through our first comprehensive strategic planning process in DMAC's history. We've had strategic plans all along the way, but we've really spent a lot of time in the last 2 years looking at where we want to go, identifying our stakeholders, our people, our internal processes, and our stewardship. And we're going to do a balanced scorecard at every department so everybody knows where they fit in the plan of achieving our mission. And our 2 highest level initiatives would be diversity, equity, and inclusion, and Guided Pathways. Guided Pathways is a national program where we try to simplify the course of an education so that students come to us, they understand what their path is. Many students come to us undecided. When I talk to our new students, I say, how many are undecided? About half will raise their hand, and I say, okay, about half of you are undecided, the other half are wrong. Because many students come with a particular idea of what they want to do. They have really not had exposure to various careers and often change their minds. I started out as a veterinary. How'd that work out? So you never know. So we want to help them get on the path, stay on the path, and then make sure that they're learning. And we do this by comprehensive assessment programs. On the DEI side, we're very proud that 23% of our student body is diverse. We want to increase that number, but we want to make sure that we are inclusive all throughout our programs, all of our academic programs, et cetera. Last year, 40% of our hires were diverse. This year, we're already at 33% for the year. We make sure that our pools are diverse and that everyone has an opportunity for us to hire the best possible person for every particular job. Just a few of our successes. As I say, one of the best best thing since sliced bread. And if you may know, in 1927, Otto Roeeder in Davenport invented the bread slicer. So when I say I was the best thing since sliced bread, we invented it. The Department of Education last year came out with college and career transition counselors. They're actually community college employees that work in the high school working with juniors and seniors to help them plan their college careers. 1/3 of Iowa high school graduates statewide do not go on to college. Mainly that's because they have not had the support to understand what the opportunities are and how to take advantage of them. DMAC got a grant last year to hire 1 college transition counselor. We hired 8. We got another grant this year to hire another one. So we're up to 10 altogether, and these individuals work 2 days in each of the K-12s and 1 day with DMAC. They're not recruiters for us. They're to help students go wherever they want to go, but knowing that 1/3 is most likely to end up in our one of our many programs. And we just got a $2 million federal earmark. Congresswoman Miller Meeks worked with Indian Hills. So this is a statewide earmark to increase the number of college and career transition counselors, knowing that many of our high school counselors, first of all, they've got about twice the caseload that they should. And then between discipline, mental health, registration, and everything else, they really don't have the time to spend with young people trying to plan their college career. So we're going to continue to expand the transition counselor program. We've got a lot of friends. Dennis Aubaugh, one of Iowa's billionaires, his only degree after high school is with DMAC. This is the day he and his wife Susan gave us a $1 million gift to expand our culinary arts program. And we've got at least one of the best culinary art program in the country. Carl Moyer gave us a $1 million gift, he and his wife Penny, to expand our auto technology program. High demand for auto technologists. We doubled the number of students in I'm just going backwards all the way. Sorry, technology is not my thing. So we doubled the size of it. This was 309 students from across the state came in for a statewide auto skills contest that we have at DMAC. We're doing a $25 million addition to our urban campus. On the right side of the DMAC letters is a new STEM education center with science labs. Left side is the student activity center as well as a conference center. UNI partnered with us down there at UNI at DMAC. So UNI is in the building, and they provide the last 2 years of a 4-year degree, and they've actually raised $2.5 million to buy down tuition so a student can get a 4-year degree from UNI at our urban campus at our tuition rate. It's a great savings for our students, particularly those that come out of the urban core. And our urban campus is the first majority students of color college or university in the state of Iowa, something we're very proud of. Fairway, we just finished an $8 million addition, a new wellness addition there. All of our athletic programs are there, and last year they claimed because we gave them a new facility, our men's team finally won the national championship in basketball. So I've actually got my own championship ring, so we're very excited. This year we finished number 3 in the nation. We're in Carroll campus. We finished a $6 million addition to our welding facility, adding classrooms and conference spaces. Jim Knott, who is our past provost and board member for there, we named the conference center after Jim and his wife Marge. When Maytag was sold to Whirlpool and left Newton, they gave us Legacy Plaza, all of the old Maytag corporate office buildings, beautiful spaces. So we're partnering with the city there to expand. We're going to have a market rate housing, a boutique hotel, restaurants, etc. We got a $14 million reinvestment grant from the Economic Development Authority. So we're very excited about getting these buildings back into production. So it's going to be a beautiful facility over there. Politics aside, we do everything we can to get as many politicians as we can on campus so they can see what a community college in Iowa is really like. Here is President Biden and Dr. Kamala Harris on campus. We make brass medallions, so I've given President Obama, President Bush, and here Joe Biden's accepting a medallion on behalf of President Biden. Again, they talk about community colleges with not really understanding everything that we do and the breadth that we have. 2014, Homeland Security came to us, wanted us to open up a Homeland Security certificate for the screeners at the Des Moines airport. 2014, we put it online. 2017, the head of the TSA flew in, said he's so happy with what we were doing. They've got 80 colleges and universities across the state doing training for their airports. But they're so happy with us that they terminated 78 of the contracts, gave us 36 states, 222 airports. So we got 36% of the country, which was a big deal until 2019 when they fired the other one. We now have the entire country, 50 states, 440 airports, 44,000 agents to train. And the TSA is so happy that if a TSA agent finishes the certificate and wants to go on to their get their two-year degree from DMAC, TSA will pay the tuition. This past May, we had a graduate from every state in the union, primarily TSA agents from all over. So we're very proud of our criminal justice department. We worked with Iowa State to create the Iowa Cyber Hub. It's a 2+2 cybersecurity program that we've designed. We've given the curriculum to any other college or university that wants it. It's a great partnership with Iowa State. The National Security Administration just named DMAC a National Center for Academic Excellence in Cyber Defense. We're the only such designated center in the state of Iowa. I don't think we got it because we were breached last year. I think we got it because we just do a good job in cybersecurity. But we're very pleased with that designation. We now lead senior college for Central Iowa. We are a part of Goldman Sachs' 10,000 Small Business Program. Goldman pays for everything to get cohorts of small businesses from all over the state through. We finished 184 companies, and we're now on our 7th cohort with 23 businesses. We're very active internationally with various programs. We've been very active in Kosovo. If you've never been to Kosovo, you should. It's the most pro-American country in the world. You walk down the main street in Pristina, there are Iowa flags everywhere. The Iowa National Guard has been very active there. It's a beautiful country. And we just finished a $1 million grant to train 28 women in energy trades. This was a graduation last May. Average grade point averaged 3.8, and they're now back in Kosovo working in various energy-related companies. Mid-American, this is Catherine Kunert. The day that Mid-American gave us a used nacelle as a part of our wind energy program. So we'll actually have an energy park on our Ankeny campus. Our urban campus, right across the street, we've got the Evelyn K. Davis for Working Families, an extremely successful community intake operation where we take individuals and help them with clothing, resume writing, job skills, etc. This is a day that we named after Barry Griswold, who helped us get this facility going. A new mural that was drawn by Jill Wells, who's actually a DMAC graduate. So if you're ever downtown, you have to get out of your car and walk along the side of this building. It's a beautiful mural that representing so much of what we do in downtown Des Moines. The Iowa legislature has been very supportive of everything the community colleges have done, particularly their Workforce Education Economic Development Fund, because of the funds that comes down, and they've identified a number of buckets of training that they want us to do in high demand areas. We've created a whole new list of certificate programs for individuals that may not have time to get a full 2-year degree. Future Ready Iowa, we're now in the 3rd year of that. In the last 2 years, 2,886 students at DMAC have drawn on over $7.2 million to pay for their tuition in high-demand careers. Very successful program. It went from $13 million a year funding for 2 years. Now it's up to $23 million. Again, encouraging individuals to get into these high-demand areas. I mentioned Dennis Aubaugh at his golf course in Ankeny. He hosts a golf tournament for us. Every dollar given to DMAC goes to scholarships. Last year's golf tournament raised $407,280 in a one-day golf tournament. Again, really helping our students be successful, because we know that for every $1,000 our students can get when they're in need, the more likely they are to complete. We were one of 13 colleges in the United States to get a grant to become part of the National Science Foundation program to increase our ability to get National Science Foundation grants. We were named by Lumina and New America as one of 6 community colleges in the country to showcase our workforce programs, how we get individuals from where they are into the workforce. We're very excited about this because we're in with 5 of the best community colleges around to share best practices so that we can do even better. We were named by Amazon as their first education partner in the state of Iowa. They provide free tuition to all their associates who have worked for 90 days or more. So we're very excited about that. Our first crop of Amazon employees will arrive this summer. And then we got a $1 million grant in December from the governor to open up a new career academy in Templeton, Iowa. We partnered with 4 K-12s out there to do career and technical programming. I mentioned Amazon. Google chose us as one of 2 community colleges in the United States to showcase and pilot their software engineering certificate. It's a free certificate for our students, and not only will they get into the certificate program, Google gives them $5,000 each to finish the particular program and we're in negotiations with Tesla to become one of their testing sites. In 2016, DMACC was named number 10, and I don't mean number 10 of the 15 community colleges. We were named number 10 of the 1,717 two-year programs in the United States based on value to students, based on a number of criteria. But DMACC has the highest bond rating of any community college in Iowa, the lowest property tax levy rate, and the lowest tuition and fees of any college or university in the state. We are very proud of the return on investment that we give, not only to our students, but to our property taxpayers. In December, Forbes magazine also named DMACC the #1 employer in the state of Iowa. Principal was number 4, John Deere was number 5, State of Iowa was number 6, Iowa State was number 9, University of Iowa was number 13. I mean, who pays attention to numbers? But we're very proud of that. Forbes says we're the first college or university in the country to ever be named #1 employer in their particular state. So we run like a business, and we're proud of it. So our brand is Life's Calling. Our tagline is, "It was dreamable, it's doable." When marketing came with this, I said what the billboard should really say is, "Life's calling, answer your darn phone." Because that's what it comes down to. There's never been a better opportunity for everyone to have a great job, to get into a great career. And with all the support the state has and our cost structure, if you know anybody that needs to improve their life or their job, send them to us. So thank you very much. Be happy to answer any questions.
Man, thank you, Rob. If you experience any more success over the next year, you might not be asked to come back. It's going to be like a 45-minute worth of success stories here. Now, thank you for everything you do. We're proud to have you in our city. Thanks for all you do for the city, the state, the region, when it comes to providing an affordable education for our kids, when it comes to providing for the concurrent enrollment, which is very valuable to our high school kids to be able to take advantage of taking those college courses and being able to get that credit while they're in high school. Thank you for the workforce development that you do. I mean, you guys have these certificate programs, and, if there's a need, a high-demand job, as you demonstrated here, you guys get in there, you create a program, and you help provide the training for those individuals. What you guys do is so important for our businesses in this city, I can't even tell you. So kudos to you and your staff. The only thing I'd like to see is to expand the course offerings here in the West Des Moines campus. Love to have more course offerings here for our kids locally, so they don't have to travel to Ankeny. But my God, you guys are doing great things, so keep it up.
Well, thank you. If there's anything you think we should be doing that we're not, let us know. Yeah, Renee?
Yeah, first of all, Rob, I want to say thank you. This was a phenomenal presentation. And I'd like copies of your slides, if you don't mind. So if we can get those, that would be appreciative.
Are you
As a
gonna fact
former,
check me?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I love to read and see great things. And it was going so fast, there were some things I couldn't catch. So as a former DMACC student, and I bridged the gap when I left Drake and went to work, and then I went back to DMACC to take some classes before I went to get my MBA. I had a wonderful experience, and things have changed. I was right on the urban campus. So you have done phenomenal things with DMACC and the way you have grown it. It is a major institution and an economic engine in this town. And I work with young people, and we promote DMACC in a partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters to have an opportunity for kids to go to DMACC, because not everybody is ready for 4 years school. So you provide that. So my hat's off to you, Rob. I've always admired and respected what you've done, but this presentation was absolutely one of the best presentations I've seen in 5 years. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, can you talk about the partnership with Mr. Simon? I would have liked, I know he has a little museum there or whatnot, so can you talk about the partnership with Mr. Simon?
Simon Estes became a visiting professor of music at DMACC 3 years ago. We've created the Simon Estes School of Fine Arts. Under his guidance, we've hired a new theater instructor. We're going to hire our second new music instructor. Our music program's going crazy. And just think, if you're a student at DMACC and you want a music lesson, you can have a music lesson with Simon Estes. I mean, that is, you remember the old Visa ads where such and such, and then finally the last thing is priceless. That is a priceless thing, to have that opportunity. And he's a great friend and a good ambassador for us.
Yeah, great.
Hey, Rob, it's always a pleasure to hear from you. I've been on the Greater Des Moines Partnership trip many times, and multiple times you've given the presentation about how important it is for people to know that there's other alternatives to college rather than a four-year university. And DMACC has made great strides over the last several years to just continue to improve the programs that are out there. And, you know, the benefit or the donation from Carroll Moyer is huge. And Dennis Albaugh as well. So I appreciate everything that they've done and everything that you and everybody at DMACC continues to do to help the new adults out there realize that there's other things besides being an accountant or a doctor or a lawyer or whatever it might be.
Thank you. Well, and in the auto facility, we represent more manufacturing brands that we teach than any other college or university in the Midwest. And in Chip Ganassi Racing, they say we've got the only Indy 500 community college partnership in the country. They actually take some of our students to Indianapolis to work on Indy 500 cars. And if you go to campus and see our new built or renovated building, in the showroom, we've got an Indy 500 car from Ganassi Racing. It's pretty cool stuff.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, Greg.
Yeah, Rob, I work with 120 Valley High School students who are dual enrollment for U.S. history every single day. And just so you know, from the ground level, you're making such a great difference in their lives because they're getting college credit at the high school level. And, you know, as Councilman Trevelyan said, they're not all going to four-year school, but the fact that DMACC is opening doors is just making a tremendous difference. And I just want to thank you. So. Just for being a difference maker in the entire community. And thank you for the presentation. There was a ton of stuff. You all are doing great.
Well, thanks for your support. We appreciate it.
Rob, we appreciate it as well. I just want to say, you know, I won't rehash everything. I agree with so many of the comments up here. And coming off of what you said, Greg, you know, you guys are leading. And you led in a big way in West Des Moines. Because your investment in West Des Moines back in, I think, 1998, 1999, on the west side of I-35 was one of the first things out there. You were there before the mall opened in 2004. You were there before Microsoft opened in 2008. You were there before Wells Fargo and IMT and Athene and Salmons and everything west of 35. You were there. And you guys have led in a really big way. Thank you for your investment in the community.
Yeah, we're here to make a difference.
All right.
You.
Thank you so much, Rob.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we will go to mayor, council, city manager reports, and we will start with Doug.
No comments at this time. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Kevin?
Nothing this time.
Renee?
Thank you. I will add just a couple of things. I want to promote the West Des Moines Chambers event coming up on Friday, the Black and Brown Summit. It's going to be held at Athene. It's Friday. It's from 7:30 to about 3:30 or 4. Catherine and her team have done an absolutely remarkable job of putting this together. I think this is the second, I think I should say annual, maybe that, not annual, but it's the second time. And they have Damon, who is a person from the Shark Tank that will be a speaker. And so I know that there'll be a proclamation read, and I'll get to make some remarks, and excited about that. Did that last year as well. So kudos to the West Des Moines Chamber for, I think, living the legacy of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and lifting brown and black businesses. So my hat goes off to you. So thank you so very much. Had a Human Rights Commission meeting. I want to applaud Audrey Kennis, who is a staff person for the city of West Des Moines. She's the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer, and she shared results of an organizational assessment that was done, and it shows that we are on a journey, and that's what this is about. And she is about a journey of helping us get further along this journey. So I've asked her to do a workshop at the end of one of our sessions. I think we need to know where we are and what our benchmark is and what she's doing, and how our resources being deployed. So hats off to Audrey, who is really everywhere in this city and doing great things to elevate this notion of belonging and inclusion in our city. It makes our city better. Everybody in this room, it makes our city better. And so wherever you're at, Audrey, keep up the good work. I have a library trustee meeting tomorrow, so I'll report on that next time. And just happy about all the great things that are happening throughout our city.
Okay, thank you, Renee. Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. A few quick items here. Councilman Loetz and I had a relatively reasonably short meeting this morning, I think, compared to some others on development and planning. The topic really related to the super block. We've talked about the super block here at the council several different times. Previously, it was largely residential, but this morning there was a plan to carve out some additional commercial development in that area. So we talked a lot about different things up there, the topography of the ground and the traffic and drive-throughs and things. But at the end of the day, we agreed that it would be good to continue moving that forward. So I think we'll see that here before the council not too long. Last week I had an Icon Water Trails board meeting, and if you read anything about the Icon Water Trails, which was covered pretty significantly here, they have not been insulated from the same issues that we've had in our community. We had that sewer project in the southwest side of the community where our engineers estimated about a $9 million cost, and it was $18 million when it came back. Well, the same sort of thing happened with Icon. They had bid something out at about $35 million, and it came back at about 74. So they are, I bring that up because obviously this is the first time the city of West Des Moines has joined the Icon Water Trails, and they're going back to the drawing board to try to figure out how best to accommodate the needs for this federal $25 million build grant. And that also impacts the city of West Des Moines because for the first time we will have a new access point. We'll have an additional access point on 63rd and Grand. And so our contribution rate will go up pursuant to the same formula that existed the last time because of that additional access point in West Des Moines. Let's see, earlier, well, I guess it was late last week. I was going to say earlier this week, we had the opportunity to attend the Wells Fargo solar facilities flipping the switch event. I thought that was really unique, and Mayor, I really appreciated your comments there. It is the single largest behind-the-meter solar installation in the state of Iowa, just down Mills Civic Parkway there. It's 2 megawatts. It's about 2,500 modules that they've installed, 2 miles of cable. They planted 250 trees, and that installation will cover about 10% of the energy needs on their West Des Moines campus out there at the home mortgage facility. And then I think they had mentioned they are also going to be adding solar to other facilities in West Des Moines, other buildings. So really a great event and fun to see that sort of investment in our community. That's all this time, Mayor.
Okay, thank you for that report, and also thank you and Renee for leading the way on helping with green energy and expanding our solar program here. I think that stuff is important. So, Greg.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had a Finance Administration Subcommittee meeting a week and a half ago or so, and the annual comprehensive financial report, this is how our city did in the fiscal year 2021, that ended in June of 2021. It's 150 pages long, so I'm only going to read just a little bit of it. No, I'm kidding. But it is online, and it tells us what we already know, I think, up here on the dais and for everyone in the audience, that Tim Stiles and his entire team of Chris and Leslie presented. They all do a phenomenal job of making sure that our city is fiscally sound. And if you read through the report, as it's a long one, but it tells us, again, already what we know. We have a really financially sound city, and it's because of the management of the staff, it's management of people up here, and of course, support of the community as well. So really, really grateful for that report. And that is all, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Greg. Tom?
No report, Your Honor.
All right. With that, we'll move on to item 4, consent agenda. Are there any items that any council person would like to pull?
4M.
Okay, 4M, any other items?
4H1.
Okay, 4H1 and 4M. Okay, can I get a motion on the remainder?
Motion for the remainder.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, please vote.
5 yes.
Okay, 4H1, approving change order number 3, digital enterprise last mile conduit deployment, phase 2. I believe Matt has pulled this because he needs to abstain.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, is there somebody who'd like to move
Move for approval.
4H1? Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Matt, I think you voted yes.
No?
We can do a revote.
Okay, let's pull it back up. Good to go?
Yep, go ahead and vote.
Thank you.
4 yes, 1 abstention due to potential conflict of interest.
Okay. Now we'll move on to item 4M, City of West Des Moines policy for roadway naming and addressing for properties within the City of West Des Moines. We've got a resolution for adoption of the policy. Okay, Kevin?
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions on this. So I don't know if it's Lynn's going to come up and answer this or what. But under the staff review and comment, types of honorary naming, I'm curious as to why there's 2 types of honorary naming when it seems that this is all about honorary with a mid-block signage and stuff like that, not an actual street name. But then the other type is it could be officially changed. How did we come to that when we were all going down honorary?
Lynn Tweet, addressing administrator in this case. The actual roadway name change policy was already part of this. They wanted kind of a way to do this a little bit simpler. Doesn't affect as many people. If you do change the roadway name, you're changing everybody's address that is on that roadway. So this secondary way to do it, the honorary naming, where it's a sign on the block, mid-block signs at the beginning and the end and occasionally between, was a easier way to have that opportunity without it having to be an official roadway name change.
Okay, but in this, the other type of honorary naming, it says does officially change. I didn't think we had in our policy that it could be named after a person. Am I incorrect on that?
From the true roadway name change can be done after somebody, but it can only be done, requested by a sitting council member. So
Okay.
it can be done
So that's
to
always been
honor
in there.
somebody. Yes.
Okay. The other is, and forgive me, I'm scrolling through this to get to the next part. It talks about from a minor collector to a minor collector. What constitutes a minor collector? 3.6.12.
Yeah, there's obviously different road classifications, and Brian's probably better served at this one. We go everything from a major arterial to a minor arterial to a major collector to a minor collector to a local. And they kind of tier in that format. So local is obviously your narrowest streets through your neighborhoods. The minor collector is that next step up. Minor collectors, to my understanding, are generally placed about every 8 blocks is what they strive for. So that minor collector to minor collector was thought to be a good distance to be able to have that honorary naming, but have some clearly defined kind of start and stop points. Now, if there is an intervening, say, a park within that 8 blocks, it would just stop at the park. It doesn't jump that intervening element, that park or church or whatever.
So it'd have to be a continual road
It
that
is a
goes.
continual road, yes.
Okay. And the last one is 3.6.14.6. Signs shall be placed for, or displayed for 10 years. But then it says new signs shall automatically be manufactured and erected. So is there an end date to this? Because it kind of sounds like it with displayed for 10 years, but then it kind of alludes to, well, but it's going to be who knows how long.
Yeah. The 10 years comes from a couple of reasons. One is that's about the life of that sign before you are going to have to replace it. These are not reflective, so they do last longer than your typical street signs. The thought of giving it a 10-year where you would have that opportunity possibly if somebody else, for some reason, wanted that roadway name section, they could go through the same procedure, and it'd be up to the committee, the Public Services Subcommittee then, to determine how they wanted to handle that. It wasn't necessarily thought that you would have multiple people being honored on the same segment of street. So it was just a way to give others the opportunity to possibly have their name put up on a honorary road naming.
So why not have an end date of 10 years, solid 10? To me, that makes more sense than it might drag on.
Yeah, and I guess I'm going to look to Renee or
sure.
Greg that were on the committee.
No, we had a robust conversation about this at Public Safety, and I think both Councilwoman Hardman and I came to an agreement that once the city and the city council votes for an honorary naming, that should remain in perpetuity, as in that section of the street, unless the council does take action, which would probably not happen, that it would not have a natural expiration date. And if the sign breaks down after 7 years or the breakdown after 12 years, then a new sign would be erected in its place. And so, unless council took action, that honorary road naming would be, for all intents and purposes, permanent, unless council did something about that. So the assumption would be it would just continue. And we felt that that would be the best way to honor somebody who went through the process and reached this level that we said, this person deserves to be honored. So that's why we just said, with the guidance of people who were in the community who came to join us at the meeting, that's the decision we kind of came to.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I do want to make, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I did want to propose a quick change to this, though. And we're looking at 3.6.3, which says honoree shall have lived in the city of West Des Moines for a minimum of 10 years. We had a good discussion about what kind of impact and when it comes to length of time living in the community. And I would like to propose to change that to 10, from 10 to 20 years, because part of our discussion that Councilwoman Harbin and I had was initially it was going to be the applicant will pay for the sign, but after our discussion, we said if it's a person worthy of honor, then who's made a big impact on our city, then we thought the city will be able to pay for that sign that's being put up in that neighborhood. But given that, we felt that 20 years might be more appropriate. So I would like to just make a quick motion to amend 3.6.3 from 10 to 20.
Okay,
That's the only switch.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion.
Well, with that, I mean, you guys have been talking about this for a long time, so I guess I'm a little surprised that this is coming at the, 11th hour. But if you've got somebody that's, and I don't know who it might be, but there could be somebody that moves into the city and does something really phenomenal that would warrant, I'm not understanding why we're going from 10 to 20 in that respect.
I kind of like it, to be honest with you, because I think it should be a high bar. And I think that's what we want. We don't want to have every single street named the street name and then an honorary name. So I kind of personally like that. And I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but the council could make, I would assume, an exception to the policy if they wanted to, in the case, Kevin, like you're talking about, to do an honorary street name after somebody that, saved a bunch of lives or did something miraculous or amazing for our community. This, I look at as a guide that we're going to follow, but certainly I think we have the ability as legislative body to make changes to it if we see fit.
And yeah, Kevin, it does say unless otherwise reduced by city council, as Councilman McKenney just pointed out to me. So I don't believe this binds future councils. But just for right now, I think that's a good place to start, and let's find out how the program unfolds. But I agree with the mayor that it should be a high bar to start, and then we can go from there.
Okay.
I'd like to add some commentary to this whole process, because we're looking at 2 to 3 pages of some notes and other documentation. First of all, I want to thank the city for really coming together with a process by which both Councilman Hudson and I have had 3 meetings on. And, for a city our age to just be coming up with honorary policy, we've made some progress here. We have had great opportunity to be able to look at folks that I think are deserving and have lived in this city for a long period of time and have made significant contributions by which we should be proud that their name is being on a street to honor them. So the staff have done a great job of getting us to this point. We've had 3 meetings where we've discussed it. We've had a great amount of citizen input. And, at some point in time, you got to move forward. And these are guidelines that we're going to stick with. I think that if there is anything noteworthy that someone does that maybe have lived here for 7.5 years and they found a cure for cancer and we want to honor them or do something, I hope the reasonable beings on this dais can step up to the plate and say it is worthy. So I am really, really proud that we are at a point where we have some guidelines and a process by which we get to honor citizens of this city city for an extended period of time that they've lived here, for the contributions that they've made, and let's let our young people learn from the legacies they've left behind. So proud, proud moment if this passes. Proud moment.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion on this item? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, on to item 5, old business, item 5A, Westtown Commons, 2501 Westtown Parkway, repeal the Westtown Commons planned unit development and amend the zoning map to establish professional commerce park, CT development. We have got two ordinances to read tonight to approve the second reading, waiver the third, and adoption of final form to repeal the PUD. And we've got an ordinance for adopting consistency zoning as well. This was approved unanimously at our last meeting, and there's been no changes from the first reading. So can I get a motion first to approve the second reading of the ordinance of repealing the PUD?
Motion consideration of the second reading?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, please vote.
Five yes. An ordinance amending the official zoning map of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019 by amending Title IX zoning, Chapter 9, Plan Unit Development District pertaining to PUD district regulations and guidelines.
Motion to approve the second reading?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Please vote.
Five yes.
Motion to waive the third reading, adopt in final form?
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, now a ordinance to adopt consistency zoning. Can I get,
Should consider the second reading?
okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, please vote.
Five yes. An ordinance amending the official zoning map of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019 by amending Title IX zoning, Chapter 4, zoning districts and maps.
Motion for approval of the second reading?
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Five yes.
Motion to waive the third reading and adopt in final form?
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, item 5B, Kings Grove Townhomes, west of the intersection of Stark Drive and South 100th Street. Change existing townhome addresses, City of West Des Moines, addressing administrator. We've got an ordinance for approval of the second reading, waiver third, and adoption of final form. This item was also approved unanimously at our last meeting, and there have been no changes.
Move consideration, second reading.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, please vote.
Five yes. An ordinance officially changing the assigned addresses of Kings Grove Townhomes Plat 1.
Motion to approve the second reading.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, please vote.
Five yes.
Motion to waive the third reading and adopt in final form.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, item 5C, ordinance amendment, amend Title IX zoning to modify regulations pertaining to operable storefronts and outdoor activity areas, city initiated. We've got an ordinance for approval of the second reading, waiver of the third, and adoption, final form. And again, like the last two, this was approved unanimously, and there's no changes from the first reading.
Move consideration of the second reading.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
Five yes. An ordinance amending the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019, Title IX zoning, Chapter 10, performance standards pertaining to operable storefronts and outdoor activity areas.
Move approval of the second reading.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Five yes.
Move to waive the third reading and adopt in final form.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, item 5D, ordinance amendment, amend Title IX zoning to modify regulations pertaining to requirements for garages in single-family and medium-density zoning districts, city initiated. We've got approval of the second reading. We approved this at the last meeting 4-1 with Councilman Trevilian voting no. There's been no changes from the first reading.
So move.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
Four yes, one no. An ordinance amending the City Code of the City of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019, Title IX zoning, Chapter 10, performance standards pertaining to requirements for garages in single-family and medium-density zoning districts.
Okay, someone want to move the?
So move.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Four yes, one no.
Okay, item 5E, ordinance amendment, amend Title IX zoning to modify regulations pertaining to residential building form and residential uses, city initiated. We've got approval, the second reading again, and again, this one was also approved 4-1 at our last meeting. There's been no changes from the first reading.
So move.
Is there a second? Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
Four yes, one no. An ordinance amending the City Code of the City of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019, Title IX zoning, Chapter 5, agricultural open space and residential zoning district pertaining to residential building form and residential uses.
Okay, Renee, you want to move it?
Sure. So
Okay.
move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, please vote. We like to have fun up here.
Okay.
Four yes, one no.
Okay, item 5F, Jordan Creek Tower, vacate 40-foot highway easement located across 575 South 60th Street, the southern portion of Waterford Drive. Dennis R. Albaugh, Revocable Trust. We've got an ordinance for approval, the second reading, waiver, the third reading, and adoption in final form. And this, again, was approved unanimously at the last meeting, and there have been no changes since the first reading.
Move
Okay.
consideration of the
Second reading?
second reading.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
It's going to be a great project.
I agree. I agree.
Very exciting.
Okay, please vote.
Five yes, an ordinance of the City of West Des Moines, Iowa, vacating a 40-foot roadway easement located across 575 South 60th Street.
Move approval of the second reading.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Five yes.
Move waiving the third reading and approve in final form.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, we are on to public hearings. Item 6A, we are being asked to defer to the May 2nd meeting. It's been a request from the developer so that he can have more time to discuss the project with the Glen Oaks residents. Can I
To
get,
continue?
okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, item 6B, this is the time and the place for a public hearing to consider Galleria 6255 Mill Civic Parkway, amend the specific plan ordinance to allow a bank on parcel A4 of the specific plan initiated by IHWOP LLC and WCKLC Red Robin LC. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice was published?
April 4th, 2022, in the Des Moines Register.
And have we received any written comment to this hearing?
The Plan and Zoning Commission, by a vote of 6 yes with 1 abstaining, adopted a resolution recommending approval of the specific plan amendment.
Okay, anybody in the audience who would like to address the council on item 6B, please come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record. Oh, and I also want to mention, I don't see anybody coming to the podium, but I do want to mention that we do have a memo on the dais here on item 6B that is changing the conditions of approval. I guess there are many different owners within this block, and the owner's requesting that the PUD amendment, they'd like to spread the cost out equally amongst all parties to pay for the infrastructure of this. So we do have a memo here that's been placed on the dais. Okay, anybody from the audience? Going once, going twice, seeing no one. Anybody online that would like to address the city council on this item, please hit *6 to unmute yourself and give us your name and address. Okay, hearing no one, I will declare the public hearing closed, and we've got an ordinance for approval of the first reading.
I'd move approval of the first reading.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
So Lynn, with respect to this document here, is this something that's been agreed to with the applicant?
Actually, Councilmember, they asked for that because at one point, we were going to assess everything against one property, but it seemed more equitable to assess
Parcel
it
it
against
out.
everybody, parcel it out
Yeah.
proportionately. So, yes, your short answer is yes.
Okay, so just to clarify, my motion would be to
include this,
this
amendment.
additional language within what's already within our packet.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. And I'll just say this came before Development and Planning, I don't know, a month ago. I think, Renee, we were there and worked through some traffic-related items, and it feels like I think everybody got on the same page and is good with moving forward.
I agree.
Good. Okay, any other discussion on this item?
Yeah, I want to make sure I understand what's going on.
Okay.
So the applicant, Lynn, will you come up?
We had a condition of approval, one condition of approval you can see there. The applicant acknowledging and agreeing that they are financially responsible for the right turn lane at the site's access drive on Mill Civic Parkway, which benefits the development. Now they're asking that they are not the only ones that share in that cost, but that it be spread out amongst other
So it's
landowners.
just changing the language here, is what the memo is saying for the
Yeah.
condition.
This
Yep.
originally would have been an exaction against that property, the whole property.
Yeah.
And since they didn't put it in at the time, it was built into the PUD or implied, and there was some language to that effect that everybody would be responsible, or they should be responsible, and it was time to construct it. So this is just spreading the cost as opposed to just the new Chase Bank that's coming in as a total payer. This would be spread across to all the properties that are benefited by it.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
And we're talking about when those parcels develop. We're not talking about assessing those parcels right now. It's when they come in to develop, they're going to be paying for that, or are they going to each get an assessment in the mail?
Right. No, they'll.
Okay.
To your point, yes.
Okay, so when they develop.
Right.
All right.
So for the time being, then who pays it? Would it be paid back to?
Chase Bank will pay it originally, the portion of it, their fair share, and then everybody else would pay it as they come online.
That's what I'm saying, who's going to pay for it right now in
We
order to
are,
get it constructed?
the city's paying for the difference.
So we're the bank.
This isn't unlike
what we did
procedurally,
on
this
the
is a little
sewer
bit different
project.
because we had actually started the construction of this project without having notified everybody. Previously, it was supposed to be in the PUD originally, and it was for certain exactions that were owed out there, but it didn't cover this one particularly. So now we're coming back and amending it to be consistent with what we had asked for from all the other developments.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Five yes, an ordinance amending the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019, and ordinances number 1567, 1920, 1925, 2167, and 2482 pertaining to plan unit development, district regulations, and guidelines.
Move approval of the first reading.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, item 6C, we're also being asked to defer this to the May 2nd meeting.
Motion to defer?
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, item 6D, this is the time and the place for a public hearing to consider Sweet Shot southwest corner of Interstate 35 and Grand Avenue. Amend the comprehensive plan land use map to designate regional commercial and establish the Sweet Shots planned unit development, regulating development of a variety of commercial and office uses initiated by Des Moines NDLC. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice was published?
April 4th, 2022, in the Des Moines Register.
And have we received any written comments to this hearing?
The Planning and Zoning Commission, by a vote of 4 yes, 1 no, with 2 abstaining, adopted a resolution recommending approval of the comp plan amendment and PUD ordinance, and there were also several citizen correspondences received, which were included with the council communication.
Okay, thank you so much. Anybody from the audience who would like to address the council on item 6D? And before we do that, actually, I'm going to go to the council chambers, but first I'd like to have Lynn Tweet, our development director, come up and maybe give us a little bit of an overview of what we're being asked to do tonight and what we're voting on, and maybe just a little description of the project. Then I will open up to the floor for citizens.
Lynn Tweet, Director of Development Services. The parcel that you see on the map is where we are talking about. This sits at the southwest corner of Grand Avenue and I-35. And really what we're looking at in the long run is a development similar to this. This is a concept. This still would have to go through plating and site planning, but this is the general idea of what's going to happen. The main driver of this is the Sweet Shots, which will be located right along the railroad tracks at the south end of the development. It is a 3-story, if you're familiar with Topgolf, Drive Shack, those kind of things. It's basically you drive from inside the building out to the driving range. It's a bar restaurant as well, so that it's just kind of a entertainment venue. Also, what you have is you likely will have a restaurant potentially in the front, hotel kind of in the middle there, another kind of mini retail building could have a restaurant in it, could have multi-tenant, kind of a typical strip center building, and then possibly some office kind of down at the west end of this. So what we have today is this property is on our comprehensive plan map as support commercial. It would need to be changed to the regional commercial to kind of capture all of the uses that want to go on this property. Under my zoning, it is actually zoned as open space today. So what we are doing is changing that zoning then to a PUD, which will then kind of govern what you can do on this property and what you can't do on the property. So that is the actions before you tonight, is a comprehensive plan amendment and then a rezoning to establish the PUD.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, before I open it up here, I guess there are a lot of people here that are here on this item tonight. So I would just ask, number one, when you come up to the microphone, number one, give your name and address for the record. Number two, I'd ask that you don't repeat everything that's already been said. If you've got something new to add, go ahead and do that. But since there are a lot of people here, I would ask people that are here in favor of the project, please stand up.
Wow.
Okay. You guys can sit back down. People that are here opposed to this project, please stand up. Okay? All right. Thank you very much. If we could, I'd like to start with people opposed to the project. If you want to come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record. Anybody that wants to lead off?
Tom Halterman, 1842 Glen Oaks Drive in West Des Moines. Thank you all for your service to the city and the opportunity to speak to you this evening. I've followed this development closely since it was announced, and I've attended most, if not all, of the public hearings that have occurred related to the project. However, it wasn't until the Planning and Zoning meeting just a week ago today that I learned that the city was relying on an odd, perhaps dubious interpretation of the city regulations as it relates to height restrictions, and specifically as it relates to the poles and nettings for the driving range of the Sweet Shots development. City staff at that meeting cited the 20-year-old Valley Stadium project as a precedent for light poles not being subject to height restrictions. For comparison purposes, there are 7 light poles at Valley Stadium. Sweet Shots proposes 30 to 40 poles. Okay, so a pretty significant difference there. Valley Stadium's poles are approximately 100 feet high. Sweet Shots will be nearly 160 feet high. So another significant difference. Valley Stadium's poles each stand alone. Sweet Shots will be connected by netting, bringing them all into a single structure. City staff then cited the Recplex as a more recent precedent for field lighting poles. Recplex has 10 lighting poles that are 60 feet high. So again, pretty significant differences from Sweet Shots 30 to 40 at 160 feet. When we pointed out that Sweet Shots poles are not even light poles, the city again pivoted and compared the poles and netting to chain link fencing. Okay? I personally have never heard or seen or even envisioned a 156 high chain link fence. but to satisfy my own curiosity, I Googled it to see what I could find. The highest chain link fence I could find was in Pakistan, and it was 28 feet high. Okay. The border fence between the U.S. and Mexico, I could find it went as high as 27 feet. Once again, we're talking about 156 feet for sweet shots. I even Googled the Fenway Park's Green Monster in Boston to see how high the Green Monster is. It's 32 feet. So what we're talking about here is stacking roughly the equivalent of 5 Green Monsters on top of each other, okay, and calling it a fence that isn't regulated by city height restrictions. To me, that seems borderline on ludicrous that we're taking that position. I've heard the developer speak to this project as being the #1 staff with the #1 product in the best location in the state. I can't speak to his staff, okay? I can tell you that there is currently 1 Sweet Shots in the world, and it's in Fargo, North Dakota, and it opened 2 weeks ago, April 4th. So I don't think anybody can credibly say at this point in time that it is the best product available in the marketplace for this type of entertainment. Lastly, this is clearly not the ideal spot or location for this because the ground, quite frankly, is just too small. It's not big enough to support the setbacks required for a structure of this height. Therefore, I urge you to reject this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Other people against the project that have other things to add, please come to the microphone and give us your name and address for the record. Okay. I would go online. Anybody against the project that would like to address the council on item 6D, please hit *6 to unmute yourself and give us your name and address for the record. *6, not #6. Okay. Hearing no one, I will now move then to anybody in favor of the project that would like to address the council that is in the chamber. Please come to the podium and give us your name and address for the record.
Paul County, 314 43rd Street, Des Moines, Iowa, 50312. So I'm going to be bouncing back and forth here a little bit once we get into the
That's fine. There are microphones in that whole
technical
area.
side of the project. Good evening. And I want to thank City Council members and staff for being here, and thank you for your time and consideration of this project. I also want to thank everyone who's here in person. I want to include a special, basically shout out to the Glen Oaks community for all they've done on this project. They've been so helpful and supportive from day one. One of the things that makes this project special is I believe, and many other real estate experts believe with me, that this is the best location in the state for a golf entertainment facility. I also believe Sweet Shots is the best golf entertainment product in the country. We went to Sweet Shots last week. It was 20 degrees and snowing. It functioned flawlessly. We had an amazing meal in an upscale restaurant, and it was a great experience. We also have an amazing development team with a proven track record of delivering projects time and time again. I also think it's important to highlight that Sweet Shots is a value driver in so many ways to this community, not detrimental to the neighboring property values and beyond. And all research has pointed us in that direction. For example, Sweet Shots alone is a $30 million development that will create 150 jobs for this community. The balance of this development easily take it to the $100 million benchmark and create scores of additional jobs. I believe that Sweet Shots fits well with the West Des Moines Comprehensive Plan, and is very complementary to the Recplex and the West Grand Corridor in general. Over 1 million people are forecasted to visit the Recplex this year. That is astonishing as a success story. Additionally, 57,000 cars a day are forecasted here, with 6 new traffic lanes in a few short years. My point being, between the Southwest Connector, Grand Prairie Parkway, and the natural evolution of this area, we think Sweet Shots is big time part of the solution for the future of the West Grand Corridor and this entire community. So I'm going to pause there, see if anybody has any questions, and if you don't.
Paul, I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take anybody else that is for the project, and then I'm going to close the public hearing, and then I'm going to open up to the council. And if people have questions, then we'll go from there.
If there are no questions right now, and I don't
Yeah,
get a
go
chance
ahead.
to speak again, there's one thing that I do want to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's another person who I want to thank. I want to thank my unbelievable, beautiful wife, Michelle County, for all of her support over the past 6 months. You've been good.
Smart man, smart man. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Paul. Appreciate it. Anybody else who would like to speak in favor of the project, again, please come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Catherine Harrington. I'm at 3917 Cody Circle in West Des Moines. I appreciate your time today, Council. I am the President and CEO of the West Des Moines Chamber of Commerce, and the Chamber of Commerce is very supportive of this project for a variety of reasons. First reason, we believe that this will be a huge talent attraction mechanism. People are now finding where they want to live first, and then they're choosing the company they want to work for. In West Des Moines, we have a lot of competitors out there. We have a lot of cities that are competing for talent. We feel like this is one of the many great things we're doing to attract top talent. So I put this super high on our talent attraction list. I also love the ability for different folks to be able to enjoy golf. I see it as an inclusive opportunity. I love golf. It's hard to find the time and the right allergy pill for the course. I do have allergies. But I love this because my father, who's 93, who loved golf, he can actually come to the facility with myself, with our family, and actually enjoy some golf because it's comfortable. There's an elevator. There are ways for him to have accessible to play golf and watch us play golf. It's hard to get on the field for him. And so I think people of an older age, it might be an accessibility opportunity. Also the young kids as well. So I just love that it provides golf for more people, might broaden more people into the sport, which we have a lot of golf courses in our region. So I think it will help all of us. So on behalf of the West Des Moines Chamber, we highly support this project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Anybody else in favor of the project who'd like to speak?
Stanley Reynolds, 1713 Thornwood Road in West Des Moines. I live 1.5 miles east of the proposed project. I am just here on behalf of just being a citizen who moved back to Des Moines in '99 and has seen how West Des Moines has grown. I've lived in 3 residences, and wherever I go, there's always expansions around all the houses that I've purchased. So I now live right off of Grand, and yeah, I am seeing a lot more traffic. But as they say, if you build it, they will come. I think this project is fantastic. I have a daughter who's on the Valley Golf team, and we would have loved to have had Sweet Shots today because her golf practice was canceled at Willow, and she would have been able to practice in there. Caroline is my daughter. I have a son who really doesn't play golf, but would just be excited because we've gone to the Top Golf down in Overland Park many times as a destination. And yeah, they have really super high towers and netting, but it's in a residential neighborhood, and you really don't even see it when you drive by it. and there's birthday parties, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm in support of this project because I think West Des Moines is the greatest place to live in the United States. Our company was just sold, and I could have retired and moved away, but I'm staying in West Des Moines because I really love this community. So I'm in favor of Sweet Shots because, as they say in the immortal movie, Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. When you build this project, it'll build so much other things down that grand corridor, and I think we're all going to be better off in the future for it. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Stan.
Thank you, Stan. Okay, anybody else in favor?
Hi, Kevin Moreland, 7876 Aspen Drive in West Des Moines. I too have moved back here in the early 2000s and have seen so much urban development. As a matter of fact, I live right down the street from where they're putting that new development on Ashworth and Jordan Creek. Welcome it with open arms. It's going to really bring a lot of people, a lot of traffic. I know the chamber is in favor for it because of all the money that it's going to be bringing in. This development, there's no doubt about that corridor down there, right off 35 in West Grand, is going to be a pinpoint of people coming to this city, and there can't be anything bad about that. I love to golf. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to join a club, but I could go out and do this. I've been to other places like Top Golf, which is kind of an offshoot of this, and people, they love it. They love it. It's packed year-round. It does wonderful things. It's also, like I say, going to bring a lot of more business with it. I understand there might be a C-store that's coming at that intersection. And one other thing, while I was sitting back there, I did see that the Green Monster is only 32 foot high, but the lights are over 180 feet high at Boston Field. So not just the wall, but the lights that light the field are that tall. So keep that in mind too, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sir, come on up and give us your name and address for the record if you'd like to speak in favor of the project or if you'd like to speak.
Against it.
Okay, if you're against, come on up. Sir, yep, sir, come on up and give us your name and address for the record. Sir, you can't, I'm sorry, you can't speak from there. We hold civil meetings and have people come to the microphone. So that's fine. I'd asked for anybody else opposed, and I didn't see or hear anybody, so that's fine.
My name is John LaFredo. I live at 5510 Little Leaf Trail. It's the first street as you go in the back gate of Glen Oaks. Now, I know you've heard all the positives, but I think you're hearing from people who live in the middle of Glen Oaks, or I live right off of Grand Avenue. So, I mean, it's been really peaceful there, but they're talking about a 6-lane road. They're talking about stoplights, a lot of traffic, and I'm just against that. You know, so let me see. It's been so quiet back there, and to me, the area they're talking about, I think it's just going to make a mess. So I just want to put my thoughts in there. So, I mean, it's the very first street when you go in the back gate. So I would be looking at everything. Stoplights, lights, traffic. So
Okay.
I'm opposed, so.
Okay.
Anyway, just wanted to give you my thoughts. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Okay, I guess anybody else for or against at this point in time, since we had somebody else against that didn't speak quick enough? Okay.
Hi, Michael Graham, 1720 Glen Levin Terrace. I'm here to say that not everybody in Glen Oaks is against this. I think it's a great thing. Hopefully it passes, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. Okay. Anybody else in the chamber? Okay, hearing none. Anybody in favor of this project online that would like to address the council, please hit *6 to unmute. Give us your name and address for the record. Okay. Hearing no one, I will declare the public hearing closed. We've got, as Lynn outlined, we've got a resolution for approval of the comp plan amendment, and we've got an ordinance for the approval of the first reading of the ordinance. We've got to take those separate. I would first take a motion on the resolution.
Move approval of comp plan amendment.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion, and I guess we would do discussion on the overall project at this point.
I have some prepared comments, so.
Okay, sure, go ahead, Councilman Lodes.
All right.
Yep.
So thank you all for coming and speaking. Thank you for partaking in, civic activities that doesn't happen in a lot. Most of the time, the gallery is not nearly as full as it is. But Sweet Shots has been on my radar since, just after the election, when I first attended my first building and planning subcommittee meeting. That was about a month and a half before I actually took office here in the council. I have many friends and neighbors on both sides of the development project here, some for, against. I've probably received over 100 emails and calls over the past 6 months. By the way, I should probably make notice that maybe not all of you know who I am. I am the Ward 3 councilman here, so this is in the middle of my ward. So I've got over 100 emails and calls over the last 6 months and had many conversations with constituents and staff regarding this project. I got into public service because it runs in my family. Few of you probably know this, but my grandfather was the Calhoun County Supervisor. My mother and father both served 2 terms on the city council in my hometown, and my mother is currently the mayor. I remember as a little kid, my grandfather at the county fair, walking around, out shaking hands with everyone who came by. I only saw the good side of it, right? Sometimes there's tough decisions that have to be made here. I learned from them, however, to always view things through the lens of the community as a whole. As a council, we're never going to make everybody happy, but if we treat people fairly, predictably, transparently, those are the kinds of things that good government does. As a public servant, I'm interested in 2 things, and 2 things only. Number one is we, as a council, must always be good stewards of taxpayer dollars. We need to make sure West Des Moines gets a good value for the dollars our constituents entrust to us through the taxes they pay. I have zero interest in things that create waste. Waste is the enemy of everyone. The second thing I'm interested in is the business of the city. We have a growing, vibrant community, lots of options for development, lots of good projects going on all over. People want to live, work, and play here in West Des Moines, and I'm proud of that. Sweet Shots will grow the tax base. It'll grow the amenities available to the community. It'll grow opportunities for jobs that will spur on things like housing and other infrastructure. A vibrant city that provides that opportunity for all constituents, regardless of who they are. These are the things that make this community vibrant, and I'm excited that we have it. This is the business of the city. If we're not growing, we're shrinking. It's a binary thing. There's no such thing as status quo. As a public servant, I have to view Sweet Shots and all projects through the lens of growing our community. Does the project benefit the city as a whole, and in my case, Ward 3? If the answer to that question is yes, then I need to support that project regardless of what it is, whether it's Sweet Shots or something else. That's my part. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman Lotz. Any other discussion? Go ahead, Greg.
Hey, Lynn, I don't want to mean to put you on the spot, but what you had said earlier about the comp plan and changing it to regional from, can you remind me what those vocabulary words were again? Because the comp plan currently is?
The comp plan currently is support commercial.
Support commercial. This would require a change to regional commercial. Can you remind me some examples? Because the Grand Avenue corridor is growing. It's growing and growing and growing, and I assume the Recplex is going to continue to be a driver. Des Moines University is going to be a continued driver. So I just wanted to know some examples of support commercial that would potentially go
Support
there.
commercial
Yeah.
in general is, it was intended to serve 2 different purposes. One, you will find support commercial around a lot of the office districts, because it was meant to provide kind of those retail amenities, the restaurants, hotels, fitness centers, dry cleaners that office employees would need, or people that are visiting those offices could quickly go to. The other aspect of support commercial was for the highway, for the motoring public. So a lot of them are right off the interchanges. They're intended for that quick on-off Again, fast food restaurants, hotels, auto service, convenience store type uses. Sport commercial would be basically 51st and Mill Civic right up here, where you have the McDonald's, you have the Come and Go, Steak and Shake, the hotel, all of those kind of dropping right in that area. Regional commercial is a little closer to the town center. It generally used to have kind of a key element or a draw for the area. A lot of times those were malls. As we know, malls are starting to kind of die off. So you have other things that are starting to switch more to the entertainment venues. So that is kind of what your regional is. It's meant to draw from not only your whole community, your metro, it's even a regional draw. So that's kind of the main differences between those two.
Would a truck stop be support commercial?
Truck stop actually can go in both sport commercial or regional commercial, both
Oh, a truck stop is regional commercial?
as well.
All right, well, thank you for the lesson. I appreciate that, Lynn.
Stay here because building off of that, I got a couple questions. And I guess I'm looking at these two, support commercial and regional commercial, not a lot of changes. It seems like a lot of the things that can go in one can go in the other. Is that correct?
That is fairly correct.
Okay.
The main difference between the two, with regional commercial, you're expanding the types of retail uses that can go in there. If you understand, our city code it's SIC driven, standard industrial classification driven. It's very specific. So instead of just lumping all the commercial together, it breaks it out. Our regional commercial allows a wider range of retail type establishments, as well as a wider range of service industries that can go in the area. Probably the biggest difference, support commercial would allow auto dealers, both new and used car dealers, boat dealers, RV dealers. That's not allowed in the regional commercial. The flip side of that is the regional commercial allows more of your department stores, variety stores, like I said, a wider range on that retail component.
And then I assume establishing a PUD based on regional commercial, then you are excluding a bunch of things that might be objectionable to some of the residents.
Yes, we did our best to kind of take a look through it.
Okay.
There may be more that the council may feel warranted, but yes, in the PUD, we did go ahead and prohibit several of the uses that otherwise would have been allowed in regional commercial.
Okay.
We also put an just across the board kind of blanket restriction on any kind of outdoor storage, warehousing type components to this. The exception to that is you can have an outdoor patio with a restaurant, that outdoor aspect.
Okay, and then one comment that I believe Tom made about the height of the poles and lights on the poles. Are there going to be lights on these poles?
No, and
Okay.
just to clarify, when we first heard of this project, it was our understanding there would be lights at about the 50-foot high mark on the
Okay.
poles, the poles being about 150 roughly in that area to hold the netting. So when we started looking at this, there's a lot of discussion. We compared them to light poles. In general, we compared them to poles that are taller than what you normally would have in a parking lot.
Okay.
As we got in there and found out that there aren't light poles on this, it still sets up the same way. Our fencing section has point blank in it a provision for recreational purposes that states in all zoning districts, fences associated with a sports or recreational facility owned by a municipality, school, park, or otherwise generally available for use by the public is not subject to height and setback requirements. So that is what we are applying to these poles. We looked at the parks, we looked at Holiday, we looked at Raccoon River Park, we looked at the archeries, we looked at Recplex, Valley Stadium, both light poles and fencing to see if any of them really had any application of any setbacks in the past. We have no precedent that we ever applied them to any of those projects.
Okay, so the lights are halfway up on the poles?
No, there are no lights on the poles. Initially, when this came into us back in December,
Sure.
we were under the understanding that there were lights on the poles,
Okay,
but there
so
are
no
not.
lights on poles now?
All the lights come from the building, shine out to
Yes.
the.
I don't know.
Okay.
Because Page 6 indicates that it's a, and that surprised me as well. I thought they were going to be on the lights.
Yeah.
Because I think Topgolf does that. These are
Okay.
all from the building going out to the east or north, I guess.
Okay.
East generally, yeah.
Any other discussion, questions, comments? Matt, you have some?
Yeah, thank you. I'm just going to share with the group here. I'm going to be abstaining from this item tonight. A partner of mine was involved with some work unrelated to work with the city. And I've not done any work on this, but I think it's appropriate that I abstain from this. My family also built and runs a driving range a quarter of a mile away from where this is at, and I also think for that reason and others, it's appropriate that I stay out of this. So I'll be abstaining.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Any other discussion? Renee?
Well, good evening, everyone. I do want to share a few remarks. As I've been a part of this discussion probably since December, and, you know, I really appreciate everyone being here tonight. I really think that this is how city government works when we have folks that share their thoughts and their opinions about what matters to them. And everybody is here because they have a passion for what's around them, what's to be, and how it affects your life. That's why you're all here, and I respect and value that. My motto has always been, as a public servant, is three things, and it's 3 L's. And it's to listen and to learn and to lead. And quite frankly, the lead part is probably the most difficult because in this seat as a leader, I have to make a decision. And I have to make a decision each time I push this button that makes one person happy and one person upset, or a group happy and another group not upset. So when I get to make this decision, I have to weigh lots of things. And quite frankly, I have. I have also received some of the same letters that my colleagues on this dais have received over this project. I have talked to individuals. Individuals have called me, and I personally have had conversations. I have also went out there myself, and I am not a pollster, but I went out and talked to about 50 people, just calling folks from lists that I have, from when I just list I have, and asking them about this enterprise. And close to 97% of people are excited about this enterprise. Excited about a venue that is family-oriented. Excited about a venue that makes us unique by having it. Excited about a venue that complements much more greater things for the city. So I'm not a golfer, so I don't know anything about golfing. Maybe I'll learn. But what I do know is about the value of quality of life initiatives for this city. What I do know is that if not us, where? And what I also have heard is let someone else do it. Why? 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 What's the reason for that? So I want to say, while my vote might be disappointing to half the group that's here or part of the group that's here, I have to make a decision based on what's in the good general interest of this city, and does it add value in certain ways to the city, and weigh all of the kinds of things. And that's what I'm going to have to do tonight. I hope that no matter how I vote, we can still appreciate that you participated in the process. I think we're all adults here to know that sometimes we get what we want and sometimes we don't. But know when I press my button that I've done as much research as I can. I have talked to enormous amount of people that I could talk to. I've been on the Planning and Development Committee when much of this was coming to be. And I have to weigh all of that and do 3 things. I've listened, I've learned a lot, and I'm prepared to lead tonight with the vote that I'm going to make. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Nope.
Okay, I guess I would just say, I'm sorry, we closed the public hearing, so there can be no more public comment. You know, this has been a heck of a process. You know, as Councilwoman Hardman said, we've heard from people on both sides of this issue, those that are for it and those that are against it. And We take the concerns of our residents very seriously. We've done due diligence on our own, and I know that the applicant has obviously done some things to mitigate some of the concerns that have been brought up. One of the concerns that I heard about a lot at the beginning was the aesthetics, the lights on poles. And so I'm glad to hear tonight that there are not lights on the poles, that they're actually on the building. And I appreciate the applicant doing what he could to make that happen. The other issue that we heard a lot about and is very concerning for all of us is that people's property values are going to go down as a result of this project. And, you know, our staff did due diligence, reached out to, I don't know how many cities and assessors across various metros, and I really applaud our staff on doing that. I think we reached out to like 30-some different cities that have these type of venues located within them. We didn't get responses back from a number of them, but the responses that we did get back, I want to say it was double digits, and not any of them indicated that property values went down as a result of the projects living near this project. So that gives me comfort as well. You know, I wish everybody could be happy about this. I wish everybody could celebrate this project. I understand the concerns that people have brought forward, but I do appreciate what's been done to mitigate those concerns, and I do appreciate that the due diligence that staff did. I'm in support of this project. I think that this is a great project. I think it's what we call a game changer for our community. Councilman Lotz, I appreciate your holistic look at this project, try to do the greatest good for the greatest number of people. It's something that's going to significantly impact our community. And I appreciate the applicant bringing this project as well. So with that, if there are no other questions, concerns, I would just ask to vote. Let's vote. Yep, I believe, Ryan, right, we got a motion in a second?
Motion
Okay.
on the resolution.
I know it's been a while, but
4 yes, 1 abstention due to potential conflict of interest.
okay. Now we've got an ordinance for approval of the first reading. Is there a motion?
Motion to consider the first reading?
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
4 yes, 1 abstention due to potential conflict of interest. An ordinance amending the official zoning map and the city code of the city of West Des Moines, Iowa, 2019 by amending Title 9 zoning, Chapter 9, Plan Unit Development District pertaining to PUD district regulations and guidelines.
Motion to approve the first reading?
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, please vote.
4 yes, 1 abstention due to potential conflict of interest.
Okay. Item 6D is approved. Item 6E, this is the time and the place for a public hearing to consider parcel 2021-2017, located at the terminus of former Southeast Army Post Road, conveyance of property interest to Des Moines Water Works initiated by the city of West Des Moines. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice was published?
April 13th, 2022 in the Des Moines Register.
And received any written comments to this hearing?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody from the audience that would like to address the council on item 6E, please come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record. Anybody that's online that would like to address the council on item 6E, please hit *6 to unmute yourself. Okay, hearing and seeing no one.
Motion for approval?
I will declare the public hearing closed, and it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
Five yes.
Okay, item 6F, this is the time and the place for a public hearing to consider digital enterprise conduit deployment segment 4, phase 4, initiated by the city of West Des Moines. Ryan, did you please read the date the notice is published?
April 8th, 2022 in the Des Moines Register.
And have received any written comments to this hearing?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody in the audience like to address the council on item 6F, please come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record. Okay, anybody online that would like to address the council, please hit *6. Okay, hearing and seeing no one, I will declare the public hearing closed. We've got two resolutions and a motion. We've got a resolution to approve approval of plans and specifications. We've got a motion to receive and file a report of bids, and we've got a resolution to reject all the bids since we had one bidder and the bid was 13% higher than the engineer's estimate. Can I get a motion for approval?
Motion for approval.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
Four yes, one abstention due to potential conflict of interest.
Okay, item 6G, this is a time and place for a public hearing to consider Valley View Park pickleball courts and ancillary improvements initiated by the city of West Des Moines. Ryan, just please read the date the notice is published.
April 8th, 2022 in the Des Moines Register.
And have you received any written comments to this hearing?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody from the audience who would like to address the council on item 6G, come to the podium, give us your name and address for the record. Anybody online, please hit *6 to unmute yourself. Okay, hearing no one, I will declare the public hearing closed. And again, we've got two resolutions and a motion, which we can take at the same time. We have an add alternate, I would mention as part of this, number 2 that is being approved, which would include the shade structure for the pickleball courts. And at this time, we will continue working with Kick It Forward for the futsal courts, which will not be a part of this.
Motion for approval.
Okay, is there a second? Any discussion? I'd really like to see those futsal courts go in. I've heard a lot of people talk.
Actually, one quick item for discussion,
Yeah.
because this will get used a lot. This is a great amenity for our city.
Yep, agreed, agreed. All right, please vote.
Evening pickleball for everybody. Lighted courts. Yeah.
Can't argue with that.
Renee? 5 yes.
Okay, item 6H, this is the time and the place for a public hearing to consider 2021 concrete trail renovations initiated by the city of West Des Moines. Ryan, would you please read the date the notice is published?
April 8th, 2022 in the Des Moines Register.
And have there been any written comments to this hearing?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody in the audience would like to address the council on item 6H, please come to the podium, give us your name and address. Anybody online, please hit *6 to unmute yourself. Okay, again, hearing and seeing no one, I will declare the public hearing closed, and we've got two resolutions in motion which we can take together.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
You know, it's fun looking at all these dots on this map, and because you don't realize that it needs some work until you look at it on the map and you're like, oh, that does need some concrete improvements. So always thankful to our diligent staff for finding places in the city that require improvements and trail renovations in this case. So it just goes to show a diligent staff is
Yep.
great.
Totally agree. Kudos go out to staff on all of the maintenance projects that we do, from Public Works to Parks and Rec. I'm always just very grateful for them keeping up on all of our infrastructure and making sure that we're making improvements when needed. So, all right, please vote.
5 yes.
Okay, item 7, new business, item 7A. Fairway Development Plat 1, 9080 Mill Civic Parkway, approved final plat to create 2 lots for commercial development. Fairway Stores, Inc., we've got a resolution for approval and release of the final plat, and this did come through Development and Planning with unanimous recommendation. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
It's Kevin now, right?
We got lots of
Okay.
broken buttons
Must
up
be a
here.
No,
problem with
mine's
this. This is
Five
my
yes.
area.
fine. Mine's is fine.
I missed mine earlier, too.
Okay.
5 yes.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm just waiting on you. All right. Item 7B, 111 Fifth Street, approve site plan to allow construction of a 4,900 square foot restaurant and office building with outside patio, 111 Fifth Street LLC. We've got a resolution for approval of the site plan, and we've got 4 conditions of approval here. And this also came unanimously through P&Z at their last meeting. The 4 conditions of approval, you can see at the bottom here. The applicant receiving city approval prior to any construction staging occurring off-site. The applicant receiving city approval for improvements to allow vehicle parking in the northeast corner of the property. The applicant receiving city approval for any future patio improvements, including but not limited to fences and pergolas. And the applicant contacting the Des Moines Metropolitan Waste Reclamation Authority when information on the future restaurant tenant is received to discuss requirements for the grease interceptor. Additionally, a minor modification development application for the location and connections of the grease interceptor will need to be submitted and approved prior to the implementation. So with those conditions of approval, can I get a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, any discussion at all?
Yeah, I want to say I'll add a comment here. I'm kind of excited about this development as well. More great restaurants going into Valley Junction is exciting to me, and I think that just the location of this one is going to be really goes along with the events on Thursday night that happened down there, Farmers Market, and the beer garden, which of course I like, right? So excited about this development.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Yeah, Mayor, I just say that I've learned that a partner of mine did some work for the corporate entity here, not in relation to the city, but to avoid the appearance, I will be abstaining from this item.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I'm excited about this project. I think it's going to significantly add to Valley Junction, and I just can't wait for this project to get started. So with that, please vote.
Four yes, one abstention due to potential conflict of interest.
Okay, item 8, receive, file, and/or refer. There is nothing to receive, file, or refer. Item 9, other matters. We had an amendment there. We will not be getting a legislative update as not a lot is going on right now at the moment down at the state capitol. Are there any other items that any city council person would like to raise at this time for the good of the order?
I would like to take a moment of personal privilege. I think over the last 3 to 4 weeks, the city council members have had an opportunity to participate in the performance evaluation of our city manager and to recognize him accordingly. And there are just many times where I don't think Tom gets the recognition that he deserves. And Tom is a leader that we all, based on the performance evaluation, have a high degree of confidence in, and believe that during these trying times, these last 2 years or so, he has stood up and stood out for his leadership. He has to deal with all of these personalities on the dais. So for that, he deserves a gold star.
Agreed.
Particularly with this one. No, I'm just kidding.
No, agreed.
But
agreed.
I cannot leave this meeting tonight without saying, Tom, it is an absolute pleasure to have you as our city manager. You have done phenomenal work, and we are lucky to have you. And so I want to say thank you for your leadership and everything that you do. Yeah.
Yeah, I would echo those comments, Tom. I've always said of Mayor Gare, all the accomplishments that he accomplished over his time as mayor, one of the greatest ones was helping get you hired as city manager. I would agree with everything Renee said. You are a leader, not only within City Hall, outside of City Hall, and throughout the metro. You're extremely well respected in all of the arenas in which you work. I'm very grateful for your leadership and for, like Renee said, putting up with all these different personalities, type A personalities on this council. So thank you for everything.
Thanks for answering the phone when I call you on Sunday night, Tom.
Yeah. You can thank him, but you got to apologize to Tina.
Yeah.
So we'll bring her in here next time. Okay. All right. Anybody else want to raise any other items before we adjourn into our workshop? Okay. Hearing none. We are adjourned into our workshop. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. You guys.